Hello everyone, welcome to lecture series on power system protection. Myself Rajeshwari Nananavar, working as an assistant professor in the Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering, KLS VDIT Halyal. Today we are dealing with third module lecture number 19. In previous lecture we discussed percentage or biased differential relay, a relay which is used for the protection of the transmission line. In this relay, the two CTs which are there on the transmission line are connected through a pilot wire. The operating coil as well as the restraining coil are arranged so that the restraining coil is divided into two sections with an equal number of turns, and the midpoint of these two sections or the to which the operating coil will be connected, so which is nothing but the percentage differential relay. So coming to the operating principle, the currents the two CTs, CT1 and CT2, the respective currents we have marked it as a I1S and I2S. Under normal operating condition, the currents flows in the same direction in both the CTs. Hence, the current which circulates in the pilot wire. So hence, the operating coil doesn't carry any current. Hence, the differential current becomes 0, operating coil is not energized and relay is not going to operate. Under internal fault condition, as and when the current flowing through the two CTs opposes each other, so some differential amount of the current, that is I1S minus I2S, which flows through the operating coil, and when this differential current exceeds a predetermined value, then automatically the relay is going to operate. So we have considered torque produced by these two operating coil as well as the restraining coil. So it will be proportional to the ampere turns of the coils. So the ampere turns of the restraining coil produced, what we have taken it as a ATR, which will be nothing but the number of turns NR into the current flowing, that we have taken it as a IR. And for the operating coil, the torque produced by the operating coil, that is a AT0, we have taken it as a N0 into the current flowing, that is a I1S minus I2S. So here the relay is going to operate when the operating coil is greater than the restraining coil. So while deriving that equation, we finally come to the expression that the torque produced because of the operating coil, that is a AT0, should be greater than K into ATR, where AT0 is a torque produced because of the operating coil and ATR is a torque produced because of the restraining coil, and that K is going to give us the slope or a bias of the relay. So depending, and this bias or the slope of the relay is always expressed in a percentage. So if I take the ratio of AT0 to ATR, so it will be always greater than some constant value K, which is in terms of a percentage. Hence the relay is called as a percentage relay, and the slope, the characteristic of this relay is always coming as a straight line having some value Ks on the y-axis. So the slope of this, if I consider, it will be in terms of a percentage. If it is a slope is 0.2, so we can have it as a 20%. If the slope is 0.5, we can have it as a 50%. So above the line, the relay is going to operate where the torque produced because of the operating coil is greater than the torque produced because of the restraining coil, and below the straight line area, whichever is there, where the operating coil is lesser than the restraining coil, hence the relay is not going to operate. So these are the points what we have discussed in a previous lecture. Moving on to the today's class, today we are going to discuss the three different sections: differential protection of a three-phase circuits, balanced voltage differential protection. So these two are the part of your third module second section, that is with respect to the differential protection, and the third part, that is a generator protection, it is a third part of your third module, that is a protection of the generating stations, protection of the rotating machines. So in that we will be considering this generator protection. So after this lecture, the students will have a better understanding of the operating principle of this three-phase circuit, protection of a three-phase circuit, as well as the balanced voltage differential protection. And they are also going to learn what is the basic idea behind the protection of the rotating machines. What are the different types of faults that occurs in the rotating machine, and how to give protection for each type of a fault. That is comes under the generator protection. In that, basically today we are dealing with the stator protection. Only one fault of the stator protection, how to protect that we are going to deal in today's class. As per the Bloom's taxonomy, the today's concept comes under the understanding and remember category. Students need to remember what are the different types of faults that occurs in the generator, the rotating machines, and they need to explain how the different types of fault occurs, how to protect them, as well as the differential protection of a three-phase circuit, as well as a balanced voltage. So considering levels L1 and L2. So we'll start with the differential protection of a three-phase circuits. Okay, so this is a figure where it is representing three lines, three phases A, B, C, to which the CTs are connected, and the currents are marked as a IA, IB, IC, and this is a relay, differential protection relay, which is going to operate depending upon the values of these currents. Okay, and this is a relay coil which we have shown, and this is the protected zone. So figure 3 illustrates the differential protection of a three-phase circuits. Under normal conditions, the three secondary currents of the CTs are balanced and their phasor sum is equal to 0. So as we have already learnt in the basics, that if the three currents, if we have taken with respect to the vectors, and if I take the vector sum of those through balanced currents, then the phasor sum will be always 0. So here also, if the currents are taken as a IA, IB and IC, so under normal operating condition, the phasor sum of these, or the vector sum of these, IA plus IB plus IC is equal to 0. Hence there is no current flows through the relay coil. So IR will be 0. So basically this IR is nothing but the sum of IA plus IB plus IC. Under normal operating condition, as this phasor sum, balanced current is flowing in all the three phases, hence the phasor sum will be 0. So the current IR is also 0. So no current flows through the relay coil, and relay coil is not going to energize. So relay is not going to operate. So this is under the normal operating condition. Therefore, no current flows through the relay coil during the normal condition. Now, what happens if there is a fault occurs? When fault occurs in the protected zone, the balance is disturbed and differential current flows through the operating coil of the relay. Okay, so as and when any fault occurs in the system, say consider, so if in this protected system, if anything goes wrong, okay, so the current which is flowing in these three phases, if anything goes wrong with the A phase, the current IA, which is flowing in a phase A, so it may be a unbalanced condition. So the current which changes compared to IB and IC, so there is a unbalancing takes place. So the phasor sum of now IA and IB and IC is not equal to 0. Okay, some amount of current which is flowing through the relay coil, and relay is going to operate. Okay, so when this IR exceeds a predetermined value set by the relay, so automatically the relay is going to operate. So this is the differential protection of a three-phase circuits. As and when there is a fault in the circuit, or as and when there is a disturbance in the circuit, the balancing condition is going to be hamper. This unbalanced condition is going to create a current, or causes the current, the differential current flows through the relay coil, and which is going to operate the relay. So if the differential current is more than the pickup value, the relay is going to operate. It is more than the pickup value or the preset value, the relay is going to operate. So this is the protection of a three-phase circuits. Now we have a balanced voltage differential protection. So figure 4 illustrates the principle of balanced voltage differential protection scheme. So I guess in the previous lecture we discussed this balanced or opposed voltage differential protection in case of your simple differential protection. Okay, so there we have a circulating current as well as the balanced voltage protective scheme. So there we have discussed the same principle. Here also we are using. So the two CTs are connected, CT1 and CT2, and the secondaries of those two terminals are connected in such a way that they oppose each other. Okay, so this connection is done in order to balance the voltage under normal operating condition. Okay, so figure 4 illustrates the principle of balanced voltage differential protection scheme. In this case, the secondaries of the CT1 and CT2 are connected in such a way that under normal operating conditions and during external faults or through faults, that is the out of the protected zone, okay, beyond the location of the CTs, that is the external faults, the secondary currents of the CTs on two sides oppose each other and their voltages are balanced. Okay, so hence no current flows in a pilot wire and relays. So the relay will be in a non-operating condition. So under normal operating condition or through conditions, the current which is flowing in both the CTs, because of this cross connection, the two currents which are flowing in CTs are opposes each other, so that the voltage is going to balance. Hence no current flows through the relay. Automatically the relay is not going to operate. During internal fault, a differential current proportional to I1 minus I2 in case of a single fed system, or proportional to I1 plus I2 in case of a double fed system, flows through the relay coils. Okay, so if any fault occurs, the differential current of I1 minus I2, it is going to flow through the relay coils. If this differential current is higher than the pickup value, the relay operates to isolate the protected equipment from the system. So depending upon the magnitude of the differential current, if it is greater than the preset value, pickup value of the relay coil, automatically the relay is going to operate. So this is the balanced voltage. So here the thing we need to remember, the cross connection is done in order to balance the voltage between the two relays. Hence the name balanced voltage differential protection scheme. Since no current flows through the secondary of the CTs under normal operating condition, the whole of the primary ampere turns are used in exciting the CTs. So this creates large flux causing saturation of the CTs and inducing a high over voltages which can damage the insulation of the CT secondaries. So for this reason, the CTs used in such protection scheme are air core type, so that the core does not get saturated and over voltages are not induced during zero secondary currents, that is under the normal operating conditions. Okay, so what happens under normal operating condition? There is no flow of a current in the secondaries of the CT. So because of which what happens, the primary ampere turns, I can directly use it for exciting the CTs. So which is going to create a flux which causes the saturation of the CTs and inducing over voltage, which can damage the insulation of the CT. So in order to avoid this condition, so the air core type of a air core type secondary terminals of the CTs are used, which is going to prevent the saturation of the CTs as well as over voltages of the CTs. So under normal operating conditions, so such type of a air core type CTs are used. Now we'll move on to the another section of your third module, that is a module 3C, rotating machine protection. So here basically we are dealing with the protection of machines, especially rotating machines which are used in the power system. So rotating machines which include synchronous generators, synchronous motors, synchronous condensers and induction motors. Okay, so the rotating machines, there are various types. We have a synchronous generator, we have synchronous motors, we have synchronous condensers, we have an induction motors. The protection scheme of any machine is influenced by the size of the machine and its importance in the system, whether to give a more protection to the generator, whether to give the more protection to the motor, whether to give more protection to the synchronous condenser. Okay, so these all depends on the parameters such as the size of the machine, okay, and its importance or its role in the operation of the power system. The failure involving short circuits are usually detected by some type of overcurrent or a differential relays. Electromechanical, static or MUPI based relays can be used standalone. They can be used individually, that is a standalone, or in combination with any other to achieve the desired degree of security and dependability. So as we know that as and when there is a rotating part in any equipment, automatically the chances of getting losses is very high. So the protection of these rotating machines are very vital in case of a protection of the power system. So for this, what are the different types of first we'll understand what are the different types of losses that occurs in the rotating machines, then we'll go for how to protect these rotating machines in the power system. In that, the first we discuss the protection of the generators. Okay, so generator is a most important and a costly equipment in a power system. So you might be while visiting to the power plant, okay, so you might have seen the size of the generators, so how big generators it will be, so which is playing a very vital role in generation of a power. So in entire power system, it is a very important equipment where we need to concentrate more and more, so that the protection becomes very important. So protection of the generator is playing a very vital role in the protective system, as it is accompanied by prime mover, excitation system, voltage regulator, cooling system, etc. Its protection becomes very complex and elaborate. So as it is equipped with so many components or so many additional equipments, so its protective scheme becomes very complex. Okay, so it is subjected to more type of troubles than any other equipment, as it is consisting of rotating parts. A modern generating set is generally provided with the following protective schemes. So first here we are discussing the protective schemes what are there in the different parts of the machines. First we will discuss the stator protection. The main part of, as we already know, the protection generator is basically two parts, stator and rotor. We need to provide protection for both. So the first here we are discussing the stator protection. So in this stator, in order to give protection for the stator, the three different protective schemes we are using: percentage differential protection, protection against the stator interturn faults, and stator overheating protection. So these are the three important protective schemes we are providing for the stator part of the rotating machine or the generator. Moving on to the rotor protection: field ground fault protection, loss of excitation protection, protection against rotor overheating because of unbalanced three-phase stator currents. So these are the again three protective schemes which we have employed for the rotor protection. And finally miscellaneous other types of faults: over voltage protection, over speed protection, protection against the motoring, protection against the vibration, bearing and overheating protection, protection against auxiliary failure, protection against voltage regulator failure. So these are other miscellaneous protective schemes which are employed for the generator. So many protective schemes are employed only for one generator. So you just imagine how important these generators in case of a power system operation. So it is playing a very vital role. Its protection becomes a very important for the as well as a power system whole considered, the protection of generators becomes very important. So first in today's class we'll concentrate only to this first stator protection, that is a percentage differential protection. So we'll restrict ourselves today's discussion only on this, and in the next class we'll go for the rest other protective schemes for the stator. So moving on to the stator protection, in that the first we have is a percentage differential protection. Figure shows a schematic diagram of a percentage differential protection. It is used for the protection of a generators above 1 megawatt. Whatever the scheme we are discussing today, it is used for the protection of the generator rating greater than 1 megawatt. It protects against winding faults, that is a phase to phase and phase to ground faults. So winding faults is nothing but the fault may occur between the phases, phase to phase, or between phase to ground. Okay, those are called as a winding faults. The polarity of the secondary voltage of CTs at the particular moment for an external fault has been shown in figure 1a. In the operating coil, the current sent by the upper, so we'll go later. So this is a protective scheme used for the protection of the stator, that is a percentage differential protective scheme. Okay, so these are the three phases, three windings of the generator what we have considered. IA, IB, IC is the current flowing, and the two CTs what we have connected to two terminals of the windings of the machine. This is a upper CT and this is a lower CT. And for the normal operating condition, the polarity of the CT as well as the flow of the current direction is also shown. Okay, and here a fault has been shown outside the protected zone. Okay, so this is a winding what we need to protect. The fault is outside or the external fault, or we can have it as a under normal operating condition also. Okay, so here one thing we need to concentrate, the polarities of the CTs as well as the current direction we need to observe carefully. Okay, so this is a three upper terminals for each winding, 1 CTs we have provided, and these are the lower CTs. Observe the polarities carefully and the direction of the current IA, IB, IC, and here also IA dash, IB dash and IC dash. And here the three relays we have placed. These are the three operating coils. These are the three operating coils, and these are the three bias coils or the restraining coils. What we can see, the another name for the bias coil is a restraining coil. Okay, so here the polarity of the secondary voltage CTs at the particular moment for an external fault has been shown in figure. In case of a operating coil, the current sent by the upper CT is cancelled by the current sent by the lower CT and relay does not operate. So just observe, the fault has been occurred here. So this is a fault location which is outside the protected zone, which is beyond the location of the CT. So external fault has been occurred. Okay, so in such a case, the current passed because of these CTs, that is IA, IB, IC, in this operating coil. So this is the direction of the current which is flowing, IA, the current flown by the upper CTs, and this is a current which is flown by the lower CTs, IA dash. You just observe the polarities. The operating coil, the current sent by upper CT is cancelled by the current sent by the lower CT, and the relay does not operate. Since both of them are opposite, equal magnitude. Okay, so there is no difference between the two currents, so opposite in nature, so automatically they cancels each other, and hence no current flows through the operating coil of the relay. Okay, so in this phase the fault has been occurred externally to this phase which the current IA we have marked. So this IA which is operating flowing in this operating coil, so this is because of the upper coil which is flowing in this direction. Say if I have it as a 5 amperes and this is a minus 5 amperes, they cancel each other. So no current flows through the operating coil of the phase A, hence the relay is not going to operate. So this is for the normal operating condition, or we can have it for the external faults. For an internal fault, the polarity of the secondary voltage of the upper CT is reversed as shown in the figure 1b. Now operating coil carries the sum of the current sent by upper CT and lower CT, and it operates and trip circuit breaks. So what happens in the next diagram? So in this next diagram, what happens? The fault has been occurred. Okay, so a fault has been occurred in the phase A. So this is that fault. You just observe carefully here. This is a fault which is occurred in the A phase. Okay, earlier the phase fault has been occurred externally to the same phase A. Now the internal fault has been occurred to the phase A. So because of this, the polarity of the relay which is connected to the phase A is reversed. You just observe here. This polarity and this polarity, just observe the polarity of the upper CT has been reversed, and the current which is flowing in this is also going to vary. So earlier it is flowing inward, now it is flowing outward, whereas the lower CTs are remaining same. The operation of these lower CTs are remaining same. The current is flowing in a same direction. So when these two currents are flowing in a same direction, automatically some amount of current, the differential current, flows in this, okay, operating coil, and hence the relay is going to operate. When it exceeds the preset value, automatically the relay is going to operate. So in case of a internal faults, the polarity of the secondary voltage of the upper CT is reversed, Now operating coil carries the sum of the current sent by the upper CT and the lower CT, and it operates and trips the circuit breaker. So because of the current flowing in that operating coil, it's because of the IA and IA dash. The sum of these two currents, when it flows through the operating coil, automatically the relay coil gets energized and relay gives a tripping signal to the circuit breaker. So this is a case when the fault occurs in phase A. Suppose the fault occurs in phase C, the either upper or lower CT, depending upon the location, it is going to reverse the polarity. Say if this is going to reverse the polarity, okay, then the current IC dash will be same, like IC will be same, then the IC dash is going to be reversed. So then automatically the sum of these two currents will be flows in a relay operating coil, so which is going to energize the operating coil of the relay and gives a tripping signal to the circuit breaker. So this is under the internal fault which is occurred in the stator part of the rotating machines. So the percentage differential protection does not respond to external faults and overloads. It provides a complete protection against a phase-to-phase fault. It provides a protection against a ground faults to about 80% to 85% of the generator windings. Due to the difference in the magnetizing currents of the upper and lower CTs, the current through the operating coil will not be zero even under normal loading or during external fault conditions. Therefore, to provide a stability on the external faults, bias coils, the restraining coils are provided. The settings of the bias coil varies from 5% to 50%, and that of the relay coil from 10% to 100% of the full load current. So depending upon your load current, the settings of these restraining coil as well as the operating coil is going to vary. The setting of the restraining coil is from 5% to 50%, whereas for the operating coil it varies from 10% to 100% of the full load current, that is for the operating current as well as the restraining current. So this is about the today's class. So today we discussed the differential protection of a three-phase circuit as and when under normal operating condition the three currents are in a balanced condition, so no current flows through the operating coil of the differential relay. So when the fault occurs in the protected area, automatically the balancing is disturbed, unbalancing occurs, because of which the some current will flows through the operating coil of the relay, which energizes the relay and in turn gives a tripping signal to the circuit breaker, hence protects the three-phase circuit. And also we discussed the balanced voltage differential protection. Here the thing we need to concentrate, the pilot wires are interconnected, because of which the under normal operating condition the two CTs carries the current in a opposite direction, hence the voltage gets balanced. Okay, when the fault occurs, automatically the relays are going to be energized and gives a tripping signal to the circuit breaker. The important thing we learned is the generator protection, the protection of the rotating machinery. In that we discussed the generator first, protection of the generator as it is equipped with so many additional equipment such as your excitation system, okay, prime mover, cooling system. So all these need to operate. For the proper operation of all these, we need to provide a better protection for the generators. So in that we discussed the different protective schemes provided for the generator. For a stator, what are the different protective scheme, for the rotor what are the different protective scheme, and in a miscellaneous overheating, overcurrent, over voltage, protection against a vibration, all those which comes under the miscellaneous. So in that the first we discussed the stator protection. The first type we have is a percentage differential protection, where the two CTs will be placed for each phase, upper CT as well as the lower CT, under normal operating condition or the through external faults. The current flowing through the operating coil will be in a reverse, so cancel each other. Automatically no current flows through the operating coil of the relay, so relay will be non-operative. As and when the fault occurs, internal fault occurs in any one of the winding, the polarity of that particular CT is going to reverse, hence some of the current flows through the operating coil, so relay coil gets energized and gives a tripping signal to the circuit breaker. So this is the protection of the stator for a percentage differential against the phase to phase fault or against the phase to ground fault. So this is for the today's class, and on this concept in the examination you may get a question. Explain the operating principle of differential protection of a three-phase circuits or balanced voltage differential protection scheme. The two questions I have clubbed here. In single one question I have explained, I asked you explain both of the protective schemes. Okay, and on this generator, for the next class you may get a question on this, because only one concept we have discussed. So for next class onwards the questions on the generator protection will start, and for this concept you can refer the textbook. Thank you. Have a nice day.